Ayuk right, they motion McCaffrey, backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk, touchdown! San Francisco! He can run, he can catch,
getting on fire!
Christian McCaffrey can throw! Schultz to the other, going to throw out left, intercepted! Diamador Lenore!
Whoa,
Dak
what a
Prescott
play!
just threw him the ball on the outcut going left to CeeDee Lamb. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play. Here's Prescott back, has time, throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT. They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown! San Francisco! He has thrown one, he has caught one, he has run one.
What's going on, 49er faithful? It's the Nitty Gritty Niners Talk crew. Myself, Crystal Peachy B, and the San Francisco 49ers just took care of business at home, defeated the New England Patriots. That's right, 31-13. Peachy, what's going on this beautiful Sunday evening? It's always beautiful when the Niners win. So what's going on this amazing, fantastic Sunday evening after a victory? How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. It was a great win. I was glad that it seemed like for a second that it might have took a turn in the wrong direction. So I'm glad that it immediately went back and turned back around, because I was thinking about what we were talking about last week when we were talking about gritty wins. And I'm like, don't tell me that we're going to have to scrounge and move this one out. The mentality of the team was basically, we're not losing this game. And I think that that's the mentality that we should have in every single game, is that no matter what, like the team was like, we're not going down 1-3. Like, it's not happening.
You thought for a second
here and it's going to be 2-2.
You thought for a second that the Niners were going to like lose this game, or it was going to come down to some type of gritty game?
Not that we were going to lose it, but that we were going to have to fight through it, because special teams was not doing us any favors. And when they did that, it just, I don't know. I just got this feeling that it wasn't, that things might start going downhill, but they didn't. And that's what matters. And, I try to be a realist about things like that. And I was thinking positive through the majority of this game. It's just that, you just never know. So, but I'm glad that we wound up winning Purdy 30, which is, really, really good. So I'm glad we did.
Interesting. I didn't feel that way even after the turnover. I mean, because Brock Purdy turned the ball over too. So like the turnovers are turnovers. Usually you lose the turnovers battle, you lose the game. But for some reason, this game was a weird game in a great way. It was like the Niners were in full control of the game no matter what. Like, it just seemed like they were in full control. Like, and it just seemed like no matter what bad was going to happen to them, like it was going to take something more devastating than a turnover or a couple of turnovers. Because I thought that on every level overall, they brought their A game. A couple of mistakes, I would say. Mistakes on special teams, especially on that play. Talk about Isaac Orlando. Thought that was a mistake. He ran into his guy, whatever. It's a mistake. I don't know why I don't know how do you run into your guy? I don't know. But maybe his guy, maybe he didn't feel that the guy was there or whatever. Sauber's got to block more. I don't know. Whatever. I got to watch that. And then obviously the Brock Purdy throw for the interception. That was a mistake too, because Jabril Peppers came out of, I don't want to say came out of nowhere, but if Brock Purdy kind of like releases that ball a little bit quicker to the wide open Brandon Ayuk opposed to the double covered Brandon Ayuk, that might have been a touchdown, at least a catch. You got to give your guy a chance to catch it. So just a couple of mistakes. But overall, like, I just didn't feel like the 49ers struggled. Like, did they struggle to score? Yes. Like, that was my biggest issue.
The red zone was very annoying. We've definitely got to clean that up.
Yeah.
I know what the refs did and all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when we're down there in the red zone. The 49ers have got to be better in the red zone, because we're fixing to go into a gauntlet. And it's going to be important for us when we get down there. We need to come away with points. 7 points to be exact.
You think?
So-
Do you consider that's a good point. You said you feel we're going into a gauntlet? Do you consider the Cardinals and the Seahawks gauntlet-ish, or just divisional games? Because gauntlet, I be thinking like them other teams. Like,
I wouldn't think of it as being a gauntlet, but after what happened with the Rams, like I am.
We lost to the Rams because
than I was before.
We kind of gave them the game. Though.
Plus,
like
we're going to be playing against a pissed off Cardinals team who got their behind kicked today by
So you worried about Cardinals being pissed off no matter how bad they looked?
Right.
Okay. Well, maybe the Cardinals will be playing against a pissed off 49ers team who gave a game to the Rams. I guarantee you that's the game Kyle Shanahan who's more pissed off and losing that over the Vikings game.
I hope so.
But I'm just saying you can't say you hope so. They came out and they beat the snot out of a team they were supposed to beat the snot out of, and then I just watched a team that everybody was high on get the snot beat out of them. I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here and overlook the Cardinals. It's going to be a tough game. It's divisional. I just don't know if that's considered one of the gauntlet teams, but it could be. It could be the start of the gauntlet. It could be the Niners got to go through, those two divisional games, and then
they play the Chiefs.
Then they hit a bad-looking Chiefs team too. By the way, this is crazy. Like the NFL is not what I thought it was. Like the dominant teams aren't dominant. I don't know if that's by design or what. Because the Chiefs look bad, but did the Chiefs win? The Chiefs
barely.
won? You gotta be kidding me.
Barely won.
They're losing the whole game. Anyway, the Chiefs are 4-0. Chiefs are 4-0. The Chiefs are 4-0. So, it's just weird because they don't look like a 4-0 team.
Yeah. But they're 4-0, and I didn't watch any of this. I just watched the 49ers game as much as I could, and that was it. I don't know. I do know that Pat Mahomes there's a reason why that Rashee Rice has an ACL, and he already admitted it, and he feels horrible about it. But the whole thing is that Rashee Rice is out. So definitely, not on the Chiefs side right now. Now, one scary thing that I am afraid of, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this up, even though this is a Niners show. Devontae Adams might be traded. And I think I might jump off of a bridge if the Chiefs trade for him. Because, and I know people are like, divisional trade. No, it happens. It happens because sometimes it's just about the money. It's just about, are the Raiders, willing to give Devontae Adams like 36, 37 million next year? Because that's what they're going to have to give him. So I had seen a couple of places where they were saying, it is a possibility. You just never know. Now, do I believe that? I'm just saying they're losing Rashee Rice. So they're gonna have to replace that somehow, and it may not be Devontae Adams, but either way, Kansas City is gonna find a way to replace that. So we'll see what happens down the road, but fingers crossed that they don't replace it before Week 7. Because that would be just great if the 49ers didn't have to worry about Rice.
And the Niners don't even need to worry about the Chiefs. The Niners need to focus on division. And so, you beat a team, and it's funny because this is the overreaction show, and there's nothing to really react about because the Niners went out there and they took care of business against a team that was inferior to them. I think that's one of the Niners' biggest issues. You should beat the teams that you're better than.
That you're supposed to. Yeah.
Right. That you're supposed to. And so, when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, I'm going to use this game. We talked about last week being a get-right game. No, last week was a divisional game. Yeah. This week was a get-right game.
Yeah,
and
had to be.
This score should have been way more than what it was. Right. And I said, and on the Discord, I was like, the Niners would be great as long as they keep their feet on the gas. And they slowly took their feet off the gas. You know what I mean? Dude, just try to score as many points as you can.
Kyle started calling these real conservative plays, and I'm thinking, you know what? Two more scores would be great. We can just get up two
Not
more
not not
scores.
not all. Not no. Not gonna blame Kyle. Penalties.
Yeah.
It changed the way Kyle had to call his plays. They were getting dumb bonehead penalties. You talked about the turnover, right? That put the defense back against the wall very early in the. Just imagine this. You're getting okay. Hear me out, Peachy. And this is what we can react to. You know what? I was like, what is there to even react to? Boom. I feel like the beginning of the game, those 2 drives into the red zone, terrible.
Yes.
Right? You only came away with 6 points in the red zone. The Niners were 2 for 4 in the red zone. That's 50%. I guess that's good, but that's not good.
Right.
Because you got to score points as touchdowns when you get that close.
Yeah.
If you're at the 20, you get a penalty, you get pushed back. All right. You could try to score, but you're willing to settle for 3. You're at that 20. You're inside of it. You gotta find a way.
You
to
just have
punch
to
it in.
do it. Because when I watch these games, see, you watch games for the film and you do whatever, but I watch games as I try to imagine down the road these scenarios and watch how the 49ers do, and that's why the red zone thing bothered me, because the 49ers are about to get into the depth of their schedule that is going to mean something. You got to score when you get down there. You can't keep doing that, because every team is not the Patriots, not even close. And you're going to have to have the mentality that when you get in the red zone, you need to come away with 7, at least 6. Like, you need to. So when I'm watching these games, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Dang, we need to get 6 there.
I think we need, whenever we get into the red zone, the goal is to score the touchdown.
Yes.
But you can't force it neither. So like, my thing was, they weren't trying to force it, because then we would have turned the ball over. The Patriots' red zone defense was pretty darn good, especially early in the game. The Patriots gave up that 1 touchdown in the red zone. Well, 2 touchdowns in the red zone, because I think one was a rush for Jordan Mason and the other was the throw to George Kittle where he mossed 3 defenders, right? So that was their 2 for 4, right? Like, in the red zone. But those first early 2, the Patriots were playing really good defense. Why? Because it's not a lot of field they got to cover in the back zone. And guys just weren't creating separation like they want. And they were literally getting pressure on Brock, forcing him to, move around a little bit more quicker than what he want. I don't know how much the Patriots blitzed in this game, but I did see Brock pressured a lot. Brock was only sacked once, but that wasn't even because of the offensive line. I'm a little bit more concerned when I put on the film this week about the receivers. Like, are they getting open quick enough, or are the routes that Kyle draws up, are they too, like, not complicated, but do they take too long to develop? Because, and see, that's my issue, right? Because, like, if you got this offensive line that's going to struggle, it's kind of handicapped in a way, right? Mm-hmm. If you got an offensive line that's going to struggle when it comes to pass protecting, right? Why not why not draw up plays that are just quick releases, quick throws, quick this, quick that, so that way it can negate what the offensive line has to do. And you're trying to get the ball down the field, because I could tell you right now the game plan was to push the ball down the field the majority of this game. Brock had 5 explosive throws completed down the field. He attempted more, but he had 5 that were like plus 20 yards down the field.
I
5.
love that.
So like that right there, I mean, against this defense, against that secondary, like Kyle Shanahan was going to attack it. It's funny because I said attack the middle of the field, and my keys to fix it said attack it. Like, take advantage of it.
Let me stop you right there and say one thing. I have said this a million times, and I'm going to say it again. You guys have got to start paying attention to Wayne Breezy's 5 threats and 5 keys to victory, so that you can understand when you watch the game what you are seeing out there, because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what he said that we needed to do. And that's exactly what we did.
I mean, like what I do is I go through the film of the other players, right? And I say, and I got to do it. So it's not like I'm just picking. I got to pay attention to who's available, who's not available. Some weeks is easy because they got some teams are star-studded. Most of the teams aren't. Like players are injured. So I literally got to go and watch them. Like, where are they going to target us? Like even Hunter Henry. Didn't I say his first down, he was going to catch first downs across the middle? And he caught first downs across the middle. Luckily, we had a big enough lead and they were non-factors. But my point is, like, the Niners offensively got to figure out other ways to attack. I thought this week they attacked the secondary. I got to give Kyle Shanahan his props because this dude said, we're just going to attack them. We know that they're going to try to take away the run, right? But we're going to attack the secondary. We're going to force their linebackers to cover, force their safeties to cover. I thought they did a good job at disguising what they were trying to do, but Brock was just like, I ain't scared of y'all.
Exactly, not at all.
Like I'm
standing back there just dealing today. I was very proud of Brock today.
Brock was composed. He was poised. Like think of any word, nothing phased him. Like, and I think I put that out there on Twitter earlier. I was like, dang, like penalty. Okay, we'll get it back on the next play. Penalty. We'll get it back on the next play. Yeah. Oh, they making me scramble around and I got to run back. Oh, I took a sack. Don't worry. I'll get it back. Like I'm loving everything about 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy because that's elite play right there, right? Like you're not forcing the ball. You're taking what the defense is giving you. You're finding ways to extend plays. He had a couple of runs for 11 plus yards. He got 2 first downs on a couple of like Brock Purdy literally efficiently wasn't in his bag, but as a quarterback, as a whole, I loved everything about Brock Purdy today.
It builds, to me, watching him out there with that confidence. I know people are like, oh, just the Patriots. It's about the confidence that a quarterback builds up when you have something like this, because now, like in games later, Brock will go out there and he'll be a lot more confident whenever he's out there, and he'll keep building his confidence and building it. And then he'll, pay attention to things he's seeing out there, and he'll get smarter as he goes along, and it'll just keep building for him. So I like that this is a really good building block game for Brock, because watching him dealing, Lord, and let's talk about that awesome Jennings catch. Another amazing catch today. Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Yeah, it was like a back, kind of like a back shoulder fade-ish type of a catch where Brock placed it to where only he could get it. He wheeled it in, and like Jennings he had the coverage beat. There's one. I got to talk about. I got to keep it real though, right? Like, because there was one Brock throw that was a good throw. It could have been better, right? And it was the throw to Debo. Debo was wide open.
Oh yeah.
And the ball was slightly underthrown.
Yeah.
And I didn't want Brock to overthrow it. I just miss, you know what it is? I miss the Jerry Rice catches. Like, right, when it's I'm in stride and catch, and I can keep staying in stride. Debo had to slow down to adjust to catch the pass, and it took him out of his stride, and it would have been, Brock would have had, that was a 58-yard catch. Brock would have had a 90-yard touchdown on that, or whatever it was. It would have been a touchdown. 100% touchdown. If Brock can get that throw a little bit in front of Debo to where he's catching that ball in stride, and the next time somebody tell me Debo Samuel can't beat coverage or get open, please go sleep underneath a rock, because you're watching football and you watch them do it. He might not do it as consistent as everybody else, but the dude, when he has a matchup and he's in man coverage and he's running down that field, he was open. He was wide open. So a couple of things I just need Brock to still continue to work on. But you talked about this being like a building thing as far as, what this does? This is building calluses, right? Yes. These are the calluses you build like on your hand. Like I got a bunch of them from lifting weights and stuff like that. These are Brock Purdy building these calluses, right? To remember, all right, man, I remember what I seen here. Muscle memory. I remember this. I remember this. Oh, yeah, I did this. I could do this time. I could do this time. And adjusting on the fly. And I think that's what makes Brock very special, his ability to just adjust on the fly. GSU for Life 1 says, please take that toss play out of the play. GSU for Life, when you watch the games, right, are you tapped into my cellular service or something? Like, are you spying on me, or are we literally watching the same thing? On my Discord, I'm literally saying the toss to Jordan Mason is the trashiest play I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It won't work because he don't. I think Mason needs the ball handed off to him, and then his vision goes woo, like literally.
Right.
But when you toss him the ball, he's focused on catching the ball.
Yes.
And then when he catches the ball, he's hoping he ain't got two defenders in front of him right ready to crack him. And then he doesn't allow his vision to open. And it's like, damn it, just hand it off. You don't gotta be pretty. He's a gritty running back. Right, PG? Like, he's the guy. He's the bell cow. 24 carries today, 123 yards with a touchdown. His long was 25. You don't got to hand him the ball. But British, are you spying on me too? Like, they got to be spying on me. There's no way. That was a Mostert play. Literally. Cook Sports says that's a breeder play. We don't have those guys anymore. I don't know if Bobby Turner has told Kyle Shanahan that them guys no longer exist.
Exactly.
You know? They gotta get rid of those, because those just, you're either getting lost for yards, you're either getting no gain, you could turn the ball over. Look, think about it, Peach. You said that the offense you felt at times that the game could have went a different way. Imagine if those fumbles.
Yeah. I know. Led to bad things. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. GSU for Life says the offensive line is not good enough to keep the defenders out the backfield on the toss plays. That's because the offensive line is out there pulling.
Exactly.
To prevent, like there's going to be cracks to where the defense knows it's a toss, and they're just going to shoot the gaps. Yeah. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's true. So I have to give a shout out right now. This is an overreaction show, and I got something I want to say, damn it. And it's 22 minutes in, so it's time for Peachy to have a small rant on this right here. Shout out to Brandon Ayuk, Mr. Red Shorts himself, who had, when he was targeted, had some dynamic catches. Just saying. So I'm just letting you know that I'm proud of 11. I thought that when he was targeted, that he did great out there. He did really good. I was very, very proud of him today.
Yeah. Yes, you said dynamic catches, right? He had
the one dynamic catch that was
the first one he got some yak, right? And then the second one was that dynamic. So he was targeted a lot, though. Brandon Ayuk's always gonna get those targets. He had 5 targets. That's tied for second most with Deebo Samuel, but he only had 2 catches for 48 yards. The first catch was 38 yards, obviously, and the second one was 10. But when I tell you that they're literally defending him differently, like I don't know what y'all watching.
I could literally see that today, even with like the Patriots defense, the way they were on him. They definitely are defending him differently. They are defending him like he's the number 1 receiver.
He is the number 1 receiver.
No. That's what I'm saying. Even though a lot of people may not look at him as being the number 1 receiver, defenses are looking at him as being the number 1 receiver.
Well, I think what they're trying to, and this is what I love about the 49ers offense this year, and shout out to Jawan Jennings, because Brandon Ayuk was the team's explosive player last year. So I think defensive-minded coaches are going to say, hey, let's take away these explosives. I do a show every week, and this is what coaches game plan for, and they want to limit or take away explosive plays. So if Brandon Ayuk is the dynamic player, the explosive player, getting into the secondary, they're going to find ways to take him out. You can see Cynthia says they seem to be blanketing him a lot more this season because they're trying to limit him the yak. See, Brandon Ayuk wasn't just beating coverage down the field; he was beating coverage all over the field. And when he would catch the ball, like in coverage in midfield, short routes or whatever, he was able to get this yak. What's happening is now they know that. And I think that they're as soon as he catches the ball, man, there's literally 2-3 guys right around him. Like, there's nothing he could do with the ball once he catches it. So that's why it looks like all of his plays, all his catches are very like tough and complicated. He's getting these drops or whatever. That's going to change though. And it's going to change because the more Jawan Jennings is explosive down the field, the more the opposite, the middle, the intermediate routes, that stuff is going to start to open up. So if you don't want to get beat by double coverage downfield by one guy, then hey, that's going to start opening things up underneath. So I think we just still got to continue to give it time. The good thing is that the 49ers are finding ways to score, and they're finding ways to move the ball, and they're distributing the ball amongst some of the other players on this team just to take not the pressure, but just to alleviate some of the pressure that the defense is going to show. Because if I'm game planning for the 49ers, I'm going to take away, and as much as people don't want to hear this, this is why Christian McCaffrey's absence is so detrimental to the San Francisco 49ers. Because now I don't have to focus on Christian McCaffrey. So I can blanket Brandon Ayuk. I call it bracketing. They don't really blanket him. It's more like a bracket. So they have a guy in coverage, and then they keep that safety like in an area to wherever he goes, that safety ends up in the spot. So it's like a bracket. They create like a bracket. That's all right. So like that's that. And then it's Debo. He has to beat his man if he's in man coverage, but a lot of teams are playing zone, right? And so like he has to find that hole in the zone. And here comes Jawan Jennings. I'm okay if the Niners did more 11 personnel because I want to see what it's like with 3 wide receiver sets and those 3 wide receivers out there. I hope Kyle is going to dial that up a little bit, and I think maybe he's been saving it for these couple of games coming up because you know who is the number 1 pass defense in the NFL? The Seattle Seahawks. And I'm wondering if Kyle Shanahan is saving some of these personnel groupings just
maybe
to not give them anything to look at on film. And then when they come out in 11 personnel, George Kittle fully healthy, Jordan Mason in the backfield, when they come out in that type of personnel grouping, I don't think the Seattle Seahawks, the Seattle Seahawks are going to have to make the adjustments. And I think maybe that's what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do right now. I can't say that is what it is, but we haven't seen much of 11 personnel from the 49ers. It's either 12, it's either 21. You'll see 2 running backs. And I don't even think I saw a lot of 21 personnel today. I did see Juice out there sometimes with Jordan Mason, but I think it was more 2 tight end sets that I saw. So I got to go back and watch the film. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Like I said, there's not much really to overact, against that. You know what I mean? Like the team did this and they did really well. Breezy said the same before the Super Bowl. I'm still waiting to Kyle show these plays. I'm just thinking of like the reason why I'm saying that now is, well, we didn't trust 11 personnel before, right? We didn't know what these 3 wideouts were going to look like on the football field. But now that we're seeing this dynamic gameplay, explosive play from Jawan Jennings, teams are going to have to start to take that out. They're going to have to start preparing, start saying, now we don't want to get mossed by this guy. We don't want to get beat by Jawan Jennings. Like he's really the dynamic. He's probably still leading. He's definitely leading the 49ers in yards. He had 276 going into this game. We'll add 88 more. Yeah. So he's definitely that dude. So they're going to start probably targeting him, and Brandon Ayuk will start getting different coverage, and that's without McCaffrey. So with McCaffrey there, it changes up a lot, which the Niners hopefully will be getting him back sometime early November. You saw Dre Greenlaw on the sideline, right? You saw him roll into the game. Like, do you think Greenlaw's coming back like November, December? Is you getting that vibe?
I hope so. And I am getting that vibe. I think him out there with the team, giving them the pep, everything like the pep talks and all this stuff, I think that he is on his way back. And I'm very excited about that. Whenever he comes back.
I hope he does. I'm hoping. I just seeing him there gave me good vibes. Seeing Christian McCaffrey there gave me good vibes, good hope for the future.
McCaffrey there was
It gave me hope for the future. Any crazy takeaways from this game that kind of like stood out to you, other than the obvious, the fumbles, the special team? I mean, it was just the one play. I thought overall special teams was good. It was one play, and the Niners were able to overcome it. They didn't give up anything off of it. Anything like we'll talk about some of the injuries as well, but anything that was special to you or that stood out to you?
Nothing that I haven't already mentioned on here, really. I just feel like that this offense, just when they're out there, they just need to tighten up. I mean, fumbles are going to happen, just like you said. It's football, and fumbles will happen as long as it's nothing detrimental that changes, the trajectory of the game. Then, it is what it is. But I just feel like you guys were talking about with the toss plays. I feel like that I wish that the defense was better at the underneath stuff or whatever, because that one that Brissett did to who was it? It wasn't Ramondre. It was the other Gibson. The one he hit to Gibson. But that would just be nitpicking. I thought.
Oh, that's not nitpicking. They got to be better.
Because yeah. So
I don't think that's nitpicking. Look, overall, you're right. Defense, the defense played amazing. Mm-hmm. Like overall, I mean, and it starts with the spark of Fred Warner getting the interception and the return for the touchdown, right? So that right there said that we're winning this game if I got to do it by myself, 49ers. Like, I'm not losing at home. The unfortunate part of that is after that, a little bit later before the half ended, Fred Warner left the game with an ankle injury, and he didn't return. So now it's like tomorrow we do our show, we're going to be holding our breath.
Yes.
Waiting on Kyle Shanahan to disclose the information about Fred Warner's ankle injury. And we're hoping it's not a high ankle sprain or some low ankle sprain. We're just hoping it's nothing that's going to be detrimental to keep him out, because what you saw was no Fred Warner when you saw those plays. So I just want you to remember, when you saw that play, the Fred Warner wasn't in the game. Now you're looking at Tatum Bethune was out there getting snaps. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles was out there getting D. Winters had a few snaps. Devondre Campbell started the game off good, but once Fred left, it's just a big change out there in that linebacking for that linebacking unit. So that's tough. It was really tough. So we have to wait to see what Fred Warner's injury is going to be. Luckily, the Niners defense was still able to generate pressure. I want to talk about some of the positives. Malik Collins, Kevin Givens, the interior, doing their job. But, again, they might have lost Jordan Elliott because he left the game with a knee injury. So it's just like, I was
going to say, yeah.
It's gonna be interesting, to see what the defense. I mean, anything about the defense that stood out to you other than the interception from Fred Warner or anything that stood out to you negatively. Like talk about the defense for a little bit.
Even with Huff, not playing because of the ankle or whatever he had going on, I felt like the secondary wasn't too bad. They didn't have to do too much, so that was, you didn't really see Brissett, taking like a bunch of deep shots and things like that. A lot of his stuff was, either underneath or just short throws. You really didn't see that too much. So the secondary didn't come into play, like as far as what I was kind of nervous about. But then I remember the Patriots really don't have any wide receiver. I mean, not really whatever. So I felt like that was pretty good. I was glad to see Nick Bosa get the sack. I was also happy to see more pressure being put on Brissett. That made me happy. That I saw a little bit more pass rush today, a little bit more getting to the quarterback. And, I know it was just the Patriots, but just to see our defensive mentality was really positive to me. It really was. So
I hate when people say it was just the Patriots, right?
Right. Me too.
Because that's all right. So 4 weeks into the game, let me do this. All right. So week 1, Patriots defeated the Bengals, right? 16-10. They beat them. All right. Week 2, okay, the Patriots, and they lost every game, but I just want to put this out there. They lost in overtime, if I'm not mistaken, to the Seattle Seahawks 23-20. All right. So they put up 20 and they ended up losing, but they went down to the wire, right? They went down to the wire. All right. So they lost to the Seahawks, and then they got their butts handed to them on Thursday Night Football by the New York Jets 24-3. All right. That's a divisional game. Okay, and you know those games could go whichever way.
And it's on Thursday Night Football, so
you can factor that in. Teams you don't know which team's going to show up on Thursday Night Football, right? But I thought the Patriots came in with a game plan. What happened was Sam O forced that fumble on Ramondre Stevenson early.
Shout out to Sam O, too.
Shout out to Sam O. Man, that's back-to-back plays in back-to-back weeks. I think the Niners need to find a way to make him just a part of the 53-man. I feel like at this point you have no choice, but they got to figure out how to get him on here. So I don't want to say it was just the Patriots. They lost a divisional game. They lost a divisional game bad. They almost beat a team that we got to play in 2 weeks. They clearly beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who seem to be struggling, but they're still the Bengals. Don't nobody talk trash about them. And then they lost, you know what I'm saying, to us, right? And so look, they're not a bad team, but they weren't projected to be anything this year because they're figuring out their quarterback situation, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, we should have took care of business and handled them. But, you know, like PG said, they didn't stop fighting. Like, they didn't stop fighting. And we were giving them opportunities. Turnover on special teams. Oh, shoot. Then the interception. Oh, shoot. But luckily, time was kind of like on our side. Like, that's how I look at it. But I'm not going to say that the Patriots are great, but they're putting up fights, and that's all I'm saying. They just didn't have enough to fight us because defensively, the Niners made it their business to make sure that Jacoby Brissett didn't do much to the San Francisco 49ers. And that was the goal. Like, the goal is make them one-dimensional, force him to have to throw the ball. That was it. Yeah. Force him to have to. They had 206. This is what's crazy. They had 216 offensive yards. 216 offensive yards, but they had the ball for 28 minutes and 25 seconds, and they ran 62 offensive plays. Yeah. So they had the ball almost 3 minutes less than us, had 2 more possession plays than us, and had almost 200 yards less than us. Had 3 less penalties, about half of the yards we had in penalties. We did what we needed to do. Like, we went out there and did what we needed to do, even with the mistakes. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
So, it's really funny because when I was looking at who was on this team, I don't even know how I forgot. So, Jabril Peppers.
Ugh.
Like, what?
Wish we would have signed him in the offseason.
Me too. Because remember we talked about how we wish so we hadn't got him. Christian Gonzalez. Those guys out there, I mean, the Patriots have a really good defense, and they are going to win some games this year. It's not like they're not going to win any games, whatever. And like you were saying when you were talking about the other games earlier, the Patriots have been in most of these games. They fight. Mayo has them out there fighting. So they're out there doing it on offense and defense, especially on defense. So I just felt like that overall that 49ers did a great job. We did what we had to do. I kept saying, in my opinion, that this was a must-win game for morale for the team.
For sure.
And that's what it looked like at the end. Everybody was all hugging and happy and, everything like that. And just any win when you're losing, because we had lost 2 back-to-back. And you just want to make sure that you come out 2-2. And that's what we did. We did what we needed to do to move on to next. And then that'll give us, like I said, it'll give building blocks, especially for Brock. I was just happy to see Brock out there taking chances and, things like that, and just throwing the ball around and not caring about, whatever, just throwing the ball around, doing his thing out there.
I brought up I brought up their offensive yards because this is where it got. They had 140. The Niners off defense, passing defense, better be ranked top 5 after this week. They only gave up 143 yards. Okay, 143. They had a total of 216. So rushing wise, they only gave up 73 yards rushing. Like, when I tell you, like, the Niners defense was on one. Malik Mustafa got his first start.
Yes.
He had some good moments. He had some not so good moments. Right. He dropped an interception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if Malik, I want, you know what? I don't know. I would like to see some 3 safety looks out there with the 49ers, but if Hufanga's out there, Hufanga makes that tackle on that first third down play, and Malik just whiffed it. Like, he didn't even try to tackle him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the dude must have cut on him, and he just took a bad angle and blah, 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 blah. But that third down, like, the Niners still, in my opinion, they got to find a way defensively to be even better than they were against the Patriots on third down. I mean, they were good, but I want them to be better. The Patriots were 5 for 16 on third down. That's 31%. Overall, that's great. Yeah. That's great. I'm not going to stunt. But there were two third downs that I felt like the Niners defense couldn't get them off the field. Mm-hmm. Now, Nick Sorensen, which I'm going to give a round of applause, got his team to adjust. And look, they finished the game. They started the game 0-2. Then they went 1-2 on third down, so that was 50%. But they finished the game 5 for 16. So third down defense got a lot better in this particular game. Obviously, there's context there. We ain't going to break down all the context, but the numbers are the numbers. So that was good for the 49ers defense. And offensively, 7 for 13, over 50%, 54% on third down. So, the Niners, they gotta just get the Reds. My thing is, you get to the red zone, score.
Yes.
That's what I'm missing. That's what we're missing.
Yes, that's what we're missing. Right
that right there is what we need. When we get to the red zone, I want to be confident that it's going for 6. So you know how you watch some teams, they get to the red zone, you be like, it's a touchdown. They're going to score.
And that it's going to get done. Yeah, that somebody's going to put it in. Exactly.
And you're right, Shulongo. Like, a key piece to the red zone offense is missing. This is the one thing that Christian McCaffrey does. He's like a key, and he unlocks the coverages. Mm-hmm. And what that means is now your tight ends could get open, your wide receivers open on the fade route. Why? Because somebody trying to cover Christian. They don't know Christian McCaffrey's gonna get the ball out of the backfield.
Exactly. They have no idea like where he's gonna. Yeah, I completely understand that. It could be all kinds of different. Yeah. So one thing that I also wanted to mention, that was so funny, is I like to thank the Patriots for giving Kyle Shanahan something that he can use in the playoffs or possibly in the Super Bowl.
What was that?
Play that the offense did, that they tried, that we blew up.
Where who caught the ball? Was it somebody caught it and then tossed it back to Gibson? Kyle's not going to use that.
Kyle's a joke, but yeah.
No, but that's my point.
Everybody says that he that's how he gets his plays, that he watches like all these different things and whatever, and then he puts all these stuff together to get.
Maybe he does. We saw a trick play in the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, we scored a touchdown off of a trick play, then he must have only had one trick play because after that
there was nothing else after that. I was like, "Where's the rest of it? Like, keep going in your bag." Because I just thought after that one. It's going to be the beginning of some,
I wouldn't try that in a million years, though. You know what I mean? And I agree with 49ers _throwback. See, we know. Trust me, he's the difference maker because he unlocks the keys to the way that the defenses have to account for him. And like I said, how many times have I said, as much as I love Jordan Mason, he doesn't bring the same thing that Christian McCaffrey brings to the game. They said it on the national broadcast.
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah.
And it's not that Jordan Mason's not a good running back. He's probably even a better running back than Christian McCaffrey. But overall back, just like overall what Christian McCaffrey does.
What he can do, yeah. It's just
totally different story. All purpose, everything about Christian McCaffrey just is like, oh man, the defense, it just keeps the defense trying to guess on every
because
play.
they have no idea like what he's going to be doing on that specific play. So they don't know if he's going to come out the backfield. They don't know if he might be throwing the ball. Like, they don't know because he can do it all. So they have no idea whether they're going to use him as a receiver. Like, you don't know, any of them. Mm-hmm. They have no idea. So that definitely is true. CMC is definitely special. Definitely missed from this offense. But
the good news is, I think the 49ers are starting to figure it out, because at some point there's going to be life after CMC, right? Like they gotta figure it out. And so that's why I'm trying to tell you, like the emergence of the surgence of Jawan Jennings, like what we're seeing from him is going to force defenses at some point to defend differently, or Jawan's just going to continue to beat him. He's going to beat double coverage. He's going to beat the Moss catches. He's just going to continue to do what he does. Either way, it works in the favor, you know what I'm saying, for the San Francisco 49ers, So that's how it looks. Edgar says, CMC for me equals so-so. Common is just another option. I agree that he's just another option, but you got to look at all the different things that CMC brings to the table from a defensive perspective, not an offensive perspective, because now if you know what he does on offense, think about what the defense has to do to prepare for that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the difference. I think we're trying to see what we could get out of Jordan Mason in the pass catching game, in the check downs, his route running. That's the thing. Christian McCaffrey is a receiving route runner. That's why I said, like, all purpose as far as a complete, like, the running back that fits Kyle Shanahan, that's Christian McCaffrey. Jordan Mason would average, if we ran the ball up the middle, Jordan Mason would probably average 6-7 yards a carry. I don't know if Christian McCaffrey would average 6 or 7 yards a carry, because they have two different running styles. So I just, like, as a pure running back, Jordan Mason probably is just a pure natural runner than Christian McCaffrey, which makes him a different type or a better pure natural running back. But as far as everything that Christian McCaffrey offers, he's like the godsend of what you want your running back to be, because he's literally a wide receiver and a running back build body. Like, you get what I'm saying? So, like, dang, like, he got great hands, great route running, great enough speed. He's just that dude. So that's the difference. And so then when the defenses are out there, they can kind of like just say, all right, there's no Christian McCaffrey. We don't necessarily have to worry about Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason isn't lining up all the time, emptying the backfield and running these nice routes to where Brock is trying to get him the ball. So it's like they win. The defense wins. With Christian McCaffrey out there, the defense doesn't win. And so even if you think you got Christian McCaffrey, you don't. And so that's the difference. So he's just not a so-so. He's not just another option.
No, he's definitely not.
He's like the right option, like the option you want. Like,
Because with Mason, and we can watch Mason sometimes and what the defenses do whenever Mason has the ball. They know 9 times out of 10 that Mason's just going to run the football. I'm just saying. That's just what they know. With Christian McCaffrey, he's so versatile and he can do so many different things that a lot of times the defenses do not know what he's doing, where he's lining up at, what the final, like what he's going to be asked to do or what he's going to do on that play. And it throws off defenses, like some of the best defenses. It throws, like he throws them off. That's why he's so dynamic like he is, and why he's so vital and so important, and what changes his team so much, and why we've had to adjust so much without not having him out there, because he does do a lot. So he's definitely not so. He's definitely like whatever. McCaffrey can be anywhere out there. Like, it don't matter. Like he can do so many things. Like I said, He can even throw the football. Like, he can literally act like a quarterback.
It's in the thing. He
As
ran for
well.
a touchdown. He threw for a touchdown, and he caught a touchdown.
he
Like,
can
remember?
Yeah. So when you have that, defenses don't know what he's doing out there, and sometimes it may not even be McCaffrey maybe do anything. It may just be the defenses are so worried about what he's doing that they try to gear up to stop him, which allows Kittle to be free or Debo to be free, or or Ayuk to be free, and now you got Jennings. So, I mean, just imagine all the weapons when he gets back, what we're going to have out there that are going to be able to do that, where the defenses, try to focus on him, and then that lets Brock, do what he's got to do.
I never thought about, like, do you think, like, the offensive line is adjusting with life without Christian McCaffrey? Like, do you think, like, because that could be a reason why we're seeing a lot of the offensive line struggle and pass pro, which to me, I can't wait to see how many pressures they gave up. They didn't give up any sacks.
Right.
But I can't wait to see how many times Brock was rushed, how many times Brock was hit. They made it seem like Brock was hit like all the time and he wasn't. So I can't wait to see like those numbers. But do you think the offensive line, like, does Christian McCaffrey even change the play of the offensive line? Is he that dynamic of a guy? Like damn, like that's crazy. I never thought about it. But Brendo and McKivitz are struggling.
Yeah.
Like, not just in pass pro, but even in run blocking. You know what I mean? Listen, like, you mentioned Jake Brendo. 49ers throwbacks mentioned Jake Brendo. He's not inconsistent. He's the worst offensive lineman out there on the football field. And it sucks because he don't look it until you see him, like, just mess up. Like, and you're just like, damn, Brendo, She says yes. Look, I don't know. I just know that the offensive line, here's what I'm getting. The Niners offense is taking time to gel, and we have to give it to them. We can't be like, oh, the Niners got this guy, they got this guy, but then they lose the key. Or when the Niners don't win when Debo doesn't play either. I don't know if y'all know that.
Exactly.
I don't know if people realize that the Niners lose games when Debo's not playing or he's not healthy when he's even in the game. But Debo was healthy and he played in this game, and the Niners did what? You could say that they played against the Patriots. I don't care. Like, when he plays, he's activated. He's good to go. You get him. And the thing I liked about Kyle Shanahan, y'all can miss me with this, is Kyle's like, I'm getting the ball to my guy. Like, F. Mason, Debo backfield, first play of the game, run that. Debo got you 6 yards. Like, that's like, I'm liking Kyle more and more, but you can tell Kyle has it's all about trust. Everything Kyle does is about trust. And if you're not a guy he trusts, the offense as a unit struggles. But I think at times, Kyle, you just got to let these young guys come in there and you got to see what they can do. And I will say, Kyle will give you an opportunity. An active Ronnie Bell, right? Couldn't catch the ball last week. This week, Isaac Guerrero fumbles on kick return. I felt like he put him out there on a running back play, and that was the last time you seen Isaac Guerrero. Like, I think Isaac, that was it. That was it. And I get it. Like, Kyle's all about the guys he fully trusts, and if you don't fully trust you, I got to ask you a question. Do you think? All right, let's talk about the Brandon Ayuk. Do you think Kyle has trust issues with Brandon Ayuk?
That's a good question. Do I think that Kyle does? Yeah, I think that he may have some, and I think that that's because he knows that he doesn't appear to be in football shape, and he still appears to be rusty. I think that that'll get better as the season goes on, but right now, I definitely think that he does.
Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. But it's hard for me to say that he doesn't trust him when Brock is targeting him.
Yeah.
So like that, like we gotta we got to change the narrative of what they're trying to make the narrative. I feel like the narrative is that they're trying to make Brandon Ayuk seem like a villain.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it. Like, instead of just saying he's a 49er, he wears the red and gold, we need to embrace him. He's doing nothing detrimental to the organization, to the team, anything. Nothing he does is jeopardizing any of them. And so, I don't know if Kyle is petty at times. I mean, we know he's petty at times, but I don't know if the shorts thing was a petty thing. But when I see that he's targeted 5 times, I don't get petty from him. Brandon's given opportunities, and he's going to have to make the best out of the opportunities that he's given. I see some comments in the chat saying that, it's about race and this, that, and the third. I'm not getting any of that. Like, if that was the case, Ayuk wouldn't even be targeted. But he is targeted, and, you got the best guys on him. And he's got to figure out a way. And that's what I was saying about the offensive line. Like, we saw Brock under a lot of duress today, right? And I'm saying to myself, is it the offensive line's fault? Or are the wide receivers just not open yet?
Right. It just seemed like that. I know that they were saying on the broadcast that it just looked like that they weren't getting open. That there was nobody that was open. And that was, I saw them a couple of times say that they just weren't getting open. So I don't know if you can really put that part on the O-line. You really can't. Because I don't know what's going on as far as that goes.
That's dope. 49ers Throwback is throwing some of the comments in the chat. I'm going to try to read some of these because I guess the pressers are going on live around. And so he says, Jordan Mason apologized to Kyle Shanahan in the locker room for missing a couple of runs per David Lombardi. This was a quote, whatever they want me to do, I'm going to do it. I tell Brock all the time, whenever you need 15 here. I don't care about running routes, catching balls, all of that. All I can do is care about winning. That's from Jawan Jennings. And last thing he put in here is also Shanahan confirmed today that Brock Purdy allows the 49ers to trend more pass heavy. I know it.
Exactly.
I've been talking about this. As I've been saying for months. Last postseason made that very clear. Kyle has changed the offense.
Yeah.
He's changed the offense to a more pass heavy offense. I don't know, like, we still want to run the ball, but I don't know what it is about us not running the ball.
Right.
But it's not this. When you say that the vibe is off, the run vibe isn't the same.
Right.
And but it's not Jordan Mason's fault.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, but that's what it is. And Kyle just explained it. Like, that's literally why. Because he's changed that he has adjusted the offense to where it is more pass heavy, and that's why, because McCaffrey's not here, and that's what he's done. And
Was
that's,
it?
So
but
there you go.
But you know what, PG? That's what makes Brock Purdy special. It's like when he drops back the pass, I'm always thinking it's a completion.
Yeah,
because the camera's on him, and then the camera has to go to wherever he throws the ball, and I'm like, oh, before it gets to the other person, I'm like, that's a catch, right? I don't think every time he drops back is going to be an interception. Now, today, I didn't feel that either until I saw Jabril Peppers rotate over, and I'm like, no.
Exactly.
Like, no, right? And so it's like, dang, like, but I don't know, my confidence in Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan's confidence in Brock Purdy, the fact that he's alluding to a more pass-heavy offense, what does that mean about Brock Purdy?
That means that Kyle has complete confidence in Brock Purdy in this offense, which is really good. It's really good. I do know that Brock is getting the ball out faster, and whether he's doing that because, of the deficiencies on the O-line or they feel like or whatever, but I don't know. He just looks so confident out there today when he was throwing the ball down the field. And he really did. He looked very confident.
And again, if you're gonna be a statistics person and you're gonna be a box score person or whatever, I don't look like Brock Purdy played as well as he actually played on the football field. Like, I understand he missed 10 passes. What was Brock Purdy's stats in this game? They weren't like amazing, but they were good enough. 15 for 27, so that's 12 passes that he missed. But he did finish with 288 yards. I mean, damn, if Brock would have completed half of those passes,
Yes.
he would have been over 300 yards again as a quarterback. And he was all-purpose yards. He was over 300 because he rushed for 11 yards. So he was right under 300, 299 all-purpose. Dang, Brock. But I'm with you. Like, I feel confident. I think Kyle's extra confident. Somebody,
Yes.
where was this? I just wanted to read this. I love having that asset out of our offense. Shanny applauds Purdy's ability to extend plays with his legs. So, like, this is good. You know, that's great. You know what I mean? That's amazing. But I do like the fact that at least he is starting to trust in a quarterback, which lets me know that Brock Purdy is going to be here for a very, very,
Yes.
very, very, very,
And we are
very
going to pay him.
long time. Right. CJ Gray says, I just need Brock to get a little bit more balance when choosing the checkdowns. I feel like this is his weakest link, but I feel like this is his weakest area because it's Kyle Shanahan's weakest area. But
Right.
I need Kyle to go back to the Atlanta Falcons playbook when he had Coleman and
Yes.
Freeman, Devontae, yeah, whatever his name
Yeah.
is. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He had those running backs, and man, it was check down motherfucking city. You want to know why Matt Ryan was MVP? He had 2 running backs, and none of them were on McCaffrey's level. You can't tell me that Jordan Mason can't do what those guys do.
Yeah.
He's not trusting Mason with the
Right.
checkdowns. And that is why, CJ Gray, I believe we're not seeing the checkdowns. I saw a checkdown today to George Kittle. I like that. But I saw a couple of passes, choice routes for Jordan Mason. But for some reason, the checkdowns are gone. Where's this? There was a comment up here that said that y'all want to be a more pass-heavy offense, but don't have the offensive line for it. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to figure out, why are we passing? Unless they're quick passes, why are we
Right.
developing and checking these plays down the field if the offensive line isn't as, the offensive line hasn't been a focal point for the 49ers. It hasn't been since Kyle Shanahan has been here.
No.
They'll get specific players, and then
Kyle
that's
has
it.
Kyle literally said, and he said over and over again, and whether I like it or not, because I don't, but it doesn't matter because I'm not the coach. I don't pay for nothing on this team. He doesn't value the offensive line like a lot of other teams do. He values the skill players more than he values the offensive line and the quarterback. It's everything basically around the O line.
At one
That's why
point, to
he
be
won't
fair,
do
at
this
one
and he won't do that because
At one point, Peachy, to be fair to that take, it was because the offensive line was with Jimmy Garoppolo, and it was to get the ball out the hand quickly. We weren't taking plays down the field. So when we built that offensive line, what were we doing? It was kind of like what Matthew Stafford is doing over in Los Angeles. It was hike the ball, 3-step drop, boom, boom, boom. We're seeing a lot more shotgun now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe Kyle's going to have to change it up. Maybe that's where we look to improve this year. I don't know.
yeah, because he said it after the draft because people were asking him like about his value of the O line, and he said that he values the skill players, that more than because we were saying that a lot of teams they value the O line first. You try to make your O line as good as you can, and then whatever. And he's not like that. He said he's never been like that.
That's true.
I mean, you can go back to Atlanta, and the reason why that Matt Ryan started getting killed was because they didn't put as much into the O line as they and Kyle was the coordinator there. He wasn't even that, and the head coach didn't put that much into the O line either. They don't hardly have any protection from Matt Ryan. He had to get the ball out. He just got the ball out like really fast. That's just how it goes. That's just how Kyle is on that. So
I thought Matt Ryan had a pretty damn good offensive line in Atlanta. We ended up with Alex Mack a couple years later after Kyle left. I thought the offensive line was pretty good.
It was one side that was like ours that was not very good, and they had to make up for it on the other. It's the same way.
But the offensive line was I don't. Doesn't make any.
I didn't really
Whatever.
think that their O-line was that good.
They were good enough to put up 28
Ryan-
points
Because
on.
Ryan used to get like pummeled, like a lot.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
just saying.
They went to the Super Bowl that year that the
Yeah.
offensive line wasn't good, and he finished MVP the year that the offensive line wasn't good.
And I had a lot of, I know a lot of Falcons fans, and they go like all the games, and they told me also that their O-line was not good, and that they needed to improve it or whatever. So it happens. I mean, it's just not as stout as that. Matt Ryan got the ball out quicker. It was on the same level as ours, really. I mean, it wasn't unspectacular. It was okay. So that's but yeah, I hope that Kyle, will.
I think my issue is
Hope so.
this is the offensive line you got. Make it work. So like you have to know that your offensive line can only block for a certain amount of time. You have to know that this area is where he's weak. You have to know that. So then when you draw up the plays, or when you call the plays, it should be called to the strengths of, what you go out there and do. Now, if that's the case, you guys got to do more to the left side. The Niners, so the issue with the Niners, they try to be balanced. So like they're trying to move the ball down the field, and they're not moving the ball east and west anymore. And I think that's an issue. That to me, that's a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing the big outside zone runs. I'm not seeing a lot of the trail routes across the middle of the field. Like the issue is moving the ball east-west, because that's how you used to tire out the defensive lines. Come fourth quarter, the defense couldn't keep up. Now every fourth quarter, we worried about a defense finding a way to turn over, to take away the ball.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that's
true.
to me, that's what, like, Kyle's, you're
That's a
too
good point.
predictable, Kyle. Like, what's going on? Where's the east-west plays? Where are those plays at? And you're hoping that they come back. Like, they come back at some point.
Right.
But let's use tonight as a building block, like you said. The Niners get the win. The morale should be high. Not saying that this is the Super Bowl, but a win is a win.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, now all they need to do is heal up, rest up, and prepare to be at home to take on a team that you said is going to be really mad coming into the house after getting pulverized against the Washington Commanders today. So I think the Niners just need to really start to focus on division, focus on winning the division, and once they get into that groove, let's just say the Niners beat the Cardinals, they beat the Seattle Seahawks, and I think after that is that the Chiefs game?
The Chiefs. Yep.
Let's say they win those two games against the division. Like the Niners juju is going to be a lot different, because now you're taking realms of your division, and that's the only thing that really should matter. And who cares what the Chiefs going to bring in to Levi Stadium? We don't know. We don't know who's going to be there. We do know it's the Chiefs. We do know Kyle struggles against Steve Spags. But before that game, Kyle also struggles against Mike McDonald's
He sure
defenses.
does.
And that, to me, that will be the ultimate test of the 49ers offense.
Yeah.
So maybe that's when we see more of the east-west ball, more of the dink and dunk, more of the check downs, because they're going to look to take away the explosive plays.
Yeah.
But what the Niners displayed on today was that they can give you some of those explosive plays. And I'm talking 7 explosive plays. I feel like it was 3 runs, 4 passes, or 5 passes, 2 explosive runs. They were moving the ball. Jordan Mays had a 25-yard run. He also had a 15-yard run. Like, explosive plays on the ground is cool. I can't wait to break down the explosive plays on the Patreon. PG, let's get some final thoughts and let's get up out of here, man, on this overreaction show. I'm dying to know how the Ravens and the Bills game is going. I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah. So, like I said, I just look at this game as a building block onto the next game. Yeah, the Cardinals game is going to be, to me, I think it's going to be crazy. 1, because it's a division game. And 2, because they're upset. But Breezy brought up a good point. The 49ers mentality might be, hey, we literally should be 3-1 right now. And we're 2-2. So let's go ahead and keep stacking wins and get these wins going. So there's some film out there that the 49ers can look at on the Cardinals, the new Cardinals that they have this year. that's a good thing. They've seen them enough. They got shellacked today by Washington. I'm sure Kyle can look at some of that and come up with a good game plan. But I hope that the 49ers are able to do that. And I hope that we're able to go into Seattle and take care of that one. And if we can take care of those 2 divisional games, that would be great. And that might right the ship a little bit more. So definitely just looking forward to the next couple of games. Then we have the Chiefs at home and then so on and so forth. But like Breezy said, just one game at a time. And the next game we have is the Cardinals. So we'll definitely be previewing that game all week, getting you guys ready for it so that, we can see what's what and everything like that. So that's all we got. But I appreciate all of you guys. There's a lot of shows going on. Thank you for choosing this one and everything. And we hope that we brought it enough to where you guys can appreciate what we have to offer on these overreaction shows. This one was more a pleasant overreaction show because the 49ers did what they were supposed to do. They hadn't done that, not so much. So
absolutely.
Yes.
They got the win. It's the only thing that matters. Touchdown. Niners in the building. They're back. They're at 500. They're going to look to go above 500 at the end of this week. Next Sunday, we'll be celebrating another win. I can feel it. I'm starting to feel the vibe of the Niners off. It's a different vibe out there when those guys are out there opposed to when like your Debos, your Kittles, those guys aren't out there. You see Jawan Jennings adding to the vibe. You see Brock Purdy just looking cool, calm, and collected, kind of looking like a cool Joe. I ain't gonna call him Joe. I'm just saying he looked like a cool Joe out there. You know what I'm saying? It's really good. Listen, I'll be here tomorrow, I think 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Wayne Breezy Show. We'll talk a little bit more about the 49ers, have some grades, do some grading, and I'm going to have you guys on the show with me. So if you want to join the show, you got to do is click on the link. I'll put it in the chat, all right, after I recap the game. And then we got BAM Show at 4 and then Nitty Gritty Niners at 9 p.m. tomorrow, I believe. So listen, we'll be back. All the stuff. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you're not already subscribed, hit that like button first and foremost. Who you got, Peachy? Bills or Ravens?
I have Baltimore, which I have been saying that I really believe that Baltimore is gonna show people why Lamar Jackson and company are still dominating the AFC. So I'm very excited about this. Go Ravens.
Oh no, somebody just got injured. Kincaid or Shakira Matt said that somebody just got injured in the game. All right, we'll be praying. Jesus, Christmas, man. We didn't get a chance to watch it, but the injuries, man. Football's tough.
So apparently, Derrick Henry started out the game on like an 84-yard touchdown or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he started out the game like that. So, yeah.
All right, if you got Derrick Henry in your lineups, good job. I'm sure the Bills defense will adjust. Should be a good game. Man, thanks for tuning in. Nitty Gritty Niners. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We out this joint. Peace.
Hey.
Breezy, gritty, this that Niners
Mo's nose.
Peachy,
It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's knows Peachy, Breezy, and Fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We two gorilla, silverback, 9 silver
You know it's
hawks.
busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and Fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk.
We outline players up in chalk.
Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk.
Niners talk.
Nitty gritty, this the Niners talk.